Hi all, welcome to the European Marquee Matchups for the 7th of March. I expect this to crop up again because all the European action kicks back next week. So we have 11 routes to cover because Apple Nicosia is not in the game, so instead of having 12 we have 11 routes. So if you can smash the links would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GSLegend. All the links down below for playlists on the channel and social media links as always. So let's jump into the 11 routes for the MMs. So Arsenal Bayern has featured already. Well, we've still got to feature it, of course, in case they decide to feature this game yet again. So for this, you're probably going to need, as expected, one player from Arsenal and Bayern. 3 leagues minimum, players from one league, probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6. But I wouldn't expect too much difficulty there. 100 chem is what I always just keep as a safety net, but they seem to go about 90-95 chemistry. Overall rating minimum 79. Your cost is roughly about, the cheapest I've been able to work out at the moment is 6k to about 10k, so that's why I'm saying 7 to 9 is a good safety net. And gold players pack could be your kind of reward, or 15k pack, 5 to 7k reward and 4 out of 10 for likelihood. I don't expect this route to happen. Napoli Real Madrid, however, I expect to happen. This route was not featured in when this first leg appeared, so I would expect this is the option they will go for. 2 or 3 leagues minimum that you would expect. The way I've built this is 6 players maximum for one league. They might tweak it to say 4 or 5. 100 chem, 79 rating. It's not very difficult in all honesty. 7 to 9k for cost, 5 to 7k reward, 6 out of 10 for likelihood. Easy ways to build this. You can go both leagues and then throw in a alternative league like Portuguese league. So Barcelona versus PSG I expect to happen also because the other option is Dortmund Benfica, and that was featured in the first leg. But Barcelona PSG, 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 5 players maximum from one league is what I've covered. You could go nations as well, quite easy in all honesty, because I've got a lot of nations covered in this particular route. 79 rating overall, 100 chem, 79k for cost, 5 to 7k reward and 6 out of 10 for likelihood. The way I've really tried to build this is to cover Veltman, just to give us an extra league. Plenty of leagues thrown in and it should work quite well in all honesty. Dortmund Benfica, obviously this route was featured and I don't expect to see it again, that's why it's got a 4 out of 10 for likelihood. 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, and it's quite an interesting way I built this, sort of going Greek and Belgian league just to give us, and an EPL route, sorry, just to give us 3 different leagues thrown in. 79 rating overall, 79k for cost and 5 to 7k reward. Like between 15 and 25k packs is what they seem to be giving out for the Champions League games, is for what I've noticed. So that's kind of what the pattern I am trying to go for rewards. So Copenhagen Ajax is the next route. For me, I don't expect this route to happen due to both teams have Copenhagen recently featured, and I don't expect Ajax to feature unless it's a derby in the Eredivisie. However, 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 5 or 6 players from one league, 75 overall ratings, 5 to 7k cost, 46k reward and a 5 out of 10 for likelihood. Now I have built this on one side being the La Liga 1-2-3. I just need to change the left back to someone within the La Liga Santander, and that's covered, so I'm not having to worry about the max from one league option, so keep that in mind. Rostov versus Manchester United is 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 5 or 6 players from one league, and then 100 chem, 77 overall rating, could even push to a 78, but due to the lack of goals in Rostov, you've got to keep that in mind, despite having some upgrades within the team. 6 to 8k for cost, it will be a bit expensive due to Manchester United, 46k reward and a 6 out of 10 for likelihood. I think this could happen. I've kind of built Serie A one side and then just kind of relied on Navas being Spanish. That could be an avenue that could be heavily exploited and kind of a cheap option, the only real cheap way maybe that it could be done for this particular route, so keep that in mind. Celta Vigo versus Krasnodar is 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 3 nations minimum. I think they'll kind of make it a little bit different. 77 overall rating, 11 players exactly, 6 to 8k for cost. It's not exactly that cheap because the golds I'm using, like Avalar for example, have now got downgrades, so his gold is quite expensive, and 46k for reward and a 6 out of 10 for likelihood. I actually quite fancy this because we've not really had teams like Krasnodar featured this year yet, and for me a good way about it is really relying on Giuseppe Rossi being Italian, and you can build quite a few different ways around that particular team, so keep that in mind. Schalke, Mönchengladbach, one player from both teams, and Bundesliga could be the way it's built, or it could just be Bundesliga, a second Bundesliga that people go, so keep that in mind. That's why I'm saying minimum leagues will be free, so to kind of eradicate that exploit. Players from one nation, maximum will be 4, team chemistry 100, 78 rating overall, 6 to 8k for cost, 4 to 6k for reward, and a 7 out of 10 for likelihood. The way I'm kind of roughly expecting it is Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, and then I went with the option of going the Portuguese league, just to kind of give us an alternative due to the players that I have in the club. I fancy it quite heavily. Ghent versus Genk is another route I really do fancy due to the nature of the games. One player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 4 max from the same nations, not too difficult. 100 chem, 77 rating overall, and I've got away with 2 bronzes in this, so that just kind of shows you the flexibility that you can throw into this. 6 to 8k for cost. It might actually be a little bit cheaper due to some of the players. 4 to 6k reward and 7 out of 10 for likelihood. Now, of course, I'm using Koulibaly and Alan. Hopefully I can use, I'll probably use alternatives, but I've at the moment kind of rely on these two due to the nature of their overalls and clubs. Lyon versus Roma, one player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum as usual expected, 4 or 5 players from the one nation, 100 chem, 78 overall, 6 to 8k for cost, 4 to 6k reward, and 6 out of 10 for likelihood. This route quite easy to put together really, a real heavy influx of Serie A, Calcio A, Ligue 1, and then a Portuguese influence as well, and I would Portuguese league influence I should say, so like Liga NOS can work, and the good thing is it gets you 100 chem. That's the way to look at it. A lot of these players are packed, so keep this in mind that these routes are quite a lot of loyalty based routes. So Olympiacos versus Besiktas, I don't fancy this route to happen because both teams have recently featured in respective marquee matchups. But however, I've still got to feature it. 1 player from both teams, 3 leagues minimum, 4 players from the one league, 100 chem, 78 rated, 6 to 8k for cost, 4 to 6k reward, and 5 out of 10 for likelihood. Easy ways to build this, in all honesty, can rely on particular nations, and also can put in plenty of players from different leagues. So I've got Turkish league, Swiss league, second tier of Bundesliga, and just Portuguese league 2. I'm well covered, and I've really mixed up. Obviously, because it's Brazil and Portugal is practically the team, it might be something that could be kind of told not to really happen. It might kind of be done differently. However, if you expect this to happen, let me know in the comments down below. I expect it to happen, so let me know what routes you expect yourself. Smash the likes as always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GSLegend. Take it easy all, thanks for watching, and I will catch you.